You. Yeah, fuck. Are now about to witness the awesome, crushing might of KNUCKLE! Yes! Welcome, my friends, to the most reliable in the business. Eugene S. Robinson with Knuckle Up. I am your host. It's round number 287. I am sorely vexed. But before I get into how vexed I am, you're going to hear his stigmata. So what? I haven't changed. So what? I got to start saying lame stuff like, if there's snow on the roof, there's fire in the cot. Or whatever the old saying is. But first, Bob Riley, singer for Stigmata. Record is Calling It a Dust. The song is Intro, All of Nothing. And he says the words that go through my head about 10 times a fucking day. At odd and not so odd times. I'm on my way back to nowhere. I took my time, but I could not see too clear. Because I'm taking a real good look at you. I'm taking a real good look at your face. Being paid back is for always nothing. All right. As you know, I was in the, or maybe you don't know, I was in New York for the holidays. I don't like saying where I'm going before I go there, but I got loose on last week's show and told you where I was going before I went there. And I don't like saying that. It just happened. There was some guy who kept texting this woman, hey, you going out later? I'll meet you. And she's like, yeah, I'll be out at 10 o'clock. And she came home, her house was broken into. Oh, what shitty luck. This happened 2 or 3 more times. She didn't get it. So I'll tell you where I've been. But in general, I don't like to tell you where I'm going. The only reason I said it is because last time we were in New York, there were like 3 or 4, 2 or 3 knuckle up sightings on the street, which means that yous stopped me's and said, hey, man, I watched Knuckle Up. And I was like, all right, yeah, great. That's good. Give me some money, you prick. Well, I didn't really say that. I just said thanks. But that's what I meant. Give me some money, you prick, you. So I was in New York, just got back, and the computer was set to the wrong time. And the letter L, the letter K, the letter J, and currently the letter M on my computer don't fucking work. I have to pound and I gotta find the right pressure point, and I don't like taking the computer to the computer shop. I try to get the letters myself and put them on, and then they work, and sometimes they don't work. Probably I need a new keyboard, but no matter what, when they see my face in the computer shop, they go, you gotta leave it here overnight, Mr. Robinson. Yeah, hey man, I haven't been here in a year and a half. How do you remember my name? I don't really know, Mr. Robinson. Eugene, I don't really know how I remember your name. But you gotta leave the computer here. Me and the guys gotta check it out for hours and hours. No, man, it's just a simple operation. You just put the new keyboard in, you bada bing out. He said, no. So now I'm stuck I'm copying and pasting the letter J, the letter K, the letter L, and the letter M. Hey, tell me something. Do you think that Ariel Helwani has to copy and paste letters that don't work on his keyboard? Do you think Joe Rogan is doing that? I don't know. Do you think it's right that a man in my position should have to copy letters because he doesn't have the letters? They do not work on his relatively new, well, it's still got a drive, so that makes it about 5 years old, MacBook Pro. I'm not getting caught up in this product cycle that you guys say every 10 years for me. That's all I can afford. Anyway, look, this is not about me. This is not about ranting. This is about what was going on behind your sleeping backs on Thursday, November 24th, also known as Thanksgiving in the U.S., a holiday frequently accompanied by a huge consumption of calories. Now, I'm going to talk about something very specific here, and it comes up a lot. Every time, like, we're in a group meeting and somebody wants to make mock or make light of something, they'll say, conspiracy, and then they'll look over at me and like, why is Eugene will have something entertaining to say on conspiracy? And I said, look, you know what, you dumbasses, let me explain something to you. It's the same basis for a pretty healthy agnosticism. I'll back it up even further. You know, at one point, I said to a couple, I said, you know, in an ideal world, the vows of marriage that you made seem to indicate to me very clearly beyond a shadow of a doubt that this person sitting at my table opposite you is the apotheosis of your romantic, intellectual, emotional development, the point beyond which you will never get any higher. And you know what they did? What they did was so stunning that I kept doing it. They laughed. Not a ha-ha laugh. Eugene, you're such a funny guy. They laughed like this. For you people listening, not watching the video, that was a contemptful snort. Yes, thank you, Kid Nate. Yeah, it was a contemptful snort. So, you know, I wasn't larding it. I didn't say anything remarkably different than what they said on their fucking wedding day. And yet, at a remove of, in one case, 4 years, at a remove of 3 years, at a remove of 20 years, the couples all had identical responses, which were like, oh, you're talking fantasy. This is real. I'm just making a statement of fact. What do you think the wedding ceremony was about? I mean, I'm just, you know, and I do the same thing with agnosticism. Seems to me to be a pretty healthy attitude. Because if I could say on any given day, you know, the apotheosis of your spiritual life, your understanding of your spiritual life, the top of the mountain, the apex. Kid Nate says, I'll just read it to you. I hope tech support will get a shout out on the air. Hashtag Kingdom of the Blind. Oh, he wants a cookie now. Kid Nate wants a cookie. Kid Nate wants a cookie now because he told me to set the clock to 11:30. I don't know that it doesn't fuck it up on the other end. I could have thought of that. It just seemed like, oh, now that those of you who watch it live, that you wouldn't be watching it live. And people go, oh, Kid Nate's on fire lately. Ah, yeah, Kid Nate's on fire. Let me tell you something. If I drank 10 Red Bulls, I'd be on fire too. You notice how I just got to sit back and give the man his, you know, you got to know when to hold it and know when to fold it. And I know I can't hold my own against Red Bulls. They're guys who come in. They're guys who come in who I train with who have Starbucks coffee in one hand and Rockstar energy drink in the other. I don't roll with those guys. No fucking way. Fuck you. And I went into a store today looking for Dark Rage. You want to, and they don't even sell it. I said, okay, well, okay, forget about that. What about Jacked? They go, those guys got sued, man. They're out of business. I go, all my pre-workout stuff seems to be illegal. But then I look online, and of course I found Dark Rage online. But that's not the point. The point is that my attitude about agnosticism seems to be a pretty healthy attitude, because on any given day, if I ask you for the apex of your understanding of the world, the outer limits of your intellectual, knowledge base, could you say it includes an understanding of a divine being that they created everything? Well, you could say that, but you'd be a fool to have said that. You'd be a fool to have said that. You can't know so what you're telling me is on a scale of 0% to 1,000%, your understanding of the nature of internal incorporeal beings is 100%. Hey, wishes and dreams don't make things true. People are like, oh, I mean, Jesus was the Son of God. Well, there's some contention about whether the historical record supports the existence of an actual Jesus. Look, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I know more than an earthworm, but I don't know how much more than an earthworm I know. So when people come to me with this joke about, oh, UG conspiracy, I just want to kind of sit back and say, oh, let me get this straight. You got it all figured out, right? So the book depository, the stinking window, the Malika Carcano gun that Lee Harvey Oswald had, if you look at Zapruder's film, immediately people are running up to the grassy knoll. Cops are running up to the grassy knoll with their guns drawn, until inevitably one particularly well-placed loudmouth goes, "Look up there!" And a bunch of other people in on the fix start looking up, and they start looking and pointing, where, there, where, and the attention is refocused on the book depository. I don't want to get into the Kennedy thing. That's not what I'm talking about. But I'm talking about conspiracies. Don't laugh them out of the joint when your knowledge at best of the things of which we speak is 20%. Mine as well. I have spies. I tell you things about Jonny Boney Joney. I see things. They come true. I talk about Kanye West. Boy slammed into a mental institution. I said rehab. I was almost right. I see things. But if you're not open up to seeing those things, you're going to go for the fucking okie doke every time. Like my friend in Tel Aviv, the 3-card Monte dealer. I said, hey, man, explain to me how you do it. Just looked at me very sadly. Nobody who knows anything about life, Eugene, pays attention to this stuff. Similarly, don't dismiss this stuff as mere conspiracy theory because I haven't shaved, because I haven't slept, because I'm drinking a whole lot of whiskey, because you can't dismiss me because of that. I have these things are based in some sort of foundational understanding of the world in which we live. To wit, Mystic Mac, they're going to have to take an army to get these belts off me. Well, that army was pretty quiet and looked a lot like a fucking check to me. They're going to have to take an army to take it. You're botching up the works. You're about to retire with 2 belts. You know what, man? And they got dudes dropping out. They have to recreate fights around you. Around you. Now, you got 2 anchors happening. If you don't think that there's a lot of hair pulling and weeping and gnashing of teeth, you're exactly 100% wrong. Because on the one hand, this is the kind of thing that always happens. On the other hand, this is the kind of thing that can't always keep happening. To Buena say what I've said before with my insider secret spy knowledge of AKA, those guys go hard. And I've been saying this since Josh Thompson's been getting hurt at AKA. I've been saying, the problem is, and you know what the problem is? How about this? I'm going to give you a little bit of something. Okay, what's the dude's name? Guerrilla Jiu-Jitsu. Dave Camarillo. So when he's there, so the overriding kind of modus operandi training, he's a judo guy, so it's hard, but he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. You have old jiu-jitsu players. You have old jiu-jitsu players for a very specific reason. You have old jiu-jitsu players for a specific reason because it's body friendly. It's a defensive martial art, call it that. So you have AKA under Dave Camarillo, a judo guy, emphasis on explosiveness, but quickly resolved in terms of the ground play that is Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Locks, chokes, bars, the whole bit. Right? Then there's a schism. Dave Camarillo leaves, starts his own school, still training guys, still called in every now and then to cover. But in general, you get DC, you get Kane, and you get the jiu-jitsu guys out. In fact, when I went to fight Kane, it was toward the end of Josh Koscheck, his time there at AK, and he was screaming and complaining, where's the jiu-jitsu coach? How come a jiu-jitsu? I don't know who they have doing jiu-jitsu now there. But I can very clearly tell you that the MO has changed from a general jiu-jitsu kind of orientation to mixed martial arts to a wrestling one. And I love wrestling. And I know there's certain special specific leagues for older wrestlers. You know, I think there was a Golden Gate Wrestling Club, and there are a couple, I mean, they're regional wrestling clubs where if you wrestled in college and you're still into it, you could play like Sunday basketball leagues. But I can go into Sorrow Academy 7 days a week and get humiliated and disrespected. I don't know of any wrestling, maybe you could assistant wrestle a high school team. So you get to get on the mat, but then you're wrestling with high schoolers. And you're helping them. You're not learning. But you got Olympians in there, and they've got a whole kind of thing that they do. And if you've ever trained, when I went out to Iowa, Tom Brand's program at Iowa with Dan Gable as his, coach emeritus, I sat there. I intended to come and train with those guys. Like I had my bag at my feet and I had my stuff in my bag. And I could tell I got there on time. I could tell I was in a crazy place. Because even though I got there on time, guys were doing warm-up for a warm-up that was absolutely murderous. Absolutely. And I was thinking, well, I guess this must be conditioning day. Conditioning day, my ass. They did the conditioning, and then they fought. Okay, Iowa is a storied program. It's top. It's not. I'm just saying. People are now saying what I had been whispering before. It's a hard program. It's a hard program, and when you got guys who are closing in on 40, you need to rethink stuff. But you know what you know. You know what you know. I don't care. We call it mixed martial arts. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen the cross-training thing happen. So I mean, Javier Mendez, who runs AKA, it stands for American Kickboxing Academy because he ISKA Kickboxing Championship. He was doing that stuff. That's how I knew him originally. Kickboxing. You know what they used to do when finally they realized they had to do something, like in the late 80s, martial arts studios, they would say, well, okay, we'll teach you grappling. I said, great, man, what grappling? We're going to teach you Mongolian wrestling. What? Mongolian? What the fuck? Mongolian wrestling? So it'd be like Tuesday, we'll do some Mongolian wrestling, and that was it. That didn't really prepare me. I had no immediate plans to go to Mongolia, and for everything else, it was pretty worthless. So you got these. Now, if you could sit down and figure out how much money, somebody with math skills better than mine, sit down and figure out how much money AKA has lost by the Kane pullouts, the Khabib pullouts, now the DC pullouts, were there John Fitch pullouts, were there Luke Rockhold pullouts, and you start to see that this is a serious cash problem. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how you want to fix it. It doesn't matter what you think about fixing it. I got to tell you that the overlords at WME are not buying it. You just can't run a business that way. You absolutely cannot. So they either have to change the structure so that it's easier to fix something like this if it's such like broken. And to think that AKA is an outlier is not out of the question. I remember somebody hit me with a statistic that said they are the winningest MMA team in the world. Statistically speaking, that's what I remember. Somebody told me that. I don't know if that's still true or not. But they had said, if you want to rank them, AKA is number one. More champions, more wins, any other place. So there is some method to dialing shit up to 10 and just hoping like, who was that cat who I used to love? Tyrone something. Not that. The guy who was the Stanford football coach before Dennis Green or immediately after him, who got the shaft at Notre Dame. Text me or tweet me his name if you remember. And he said, if my team can play as strong the fourth quarter as we played the first quarter, we're going to win 100% of the time. So he was a bear for crazy, that kind of like Jerry Rice condition that would make lesser men just die, dead. Whoa. Yeah, the plant is. I had all kinds of problems. I ran in from the airport, did the show. I didn't really get shit too straight. Oh, you wanted it to fall so badly. Now it's resting up on my shoulders. So it'll be pretty perfect. I can't lean forward, however. So, if AKA dials it up to 10 and the other teams don't, they're going to win. And it's something that works. But there's something that happens when you get into the rarefied air of the top three, especially when you have Tyrone Willingham. Thank you, my friend. So there's something that happens when you get up in the top three. With the top three, and you're not going to believe me at first when I say it, but I'll say it now. You'll believe it later. The top three suddenly is not so much about winning or losing anymore. If you remember, McG lost to Nate Diaz. What happened? Very different than a CM Punk losing to Mickey Gall. It's a bad comparison. I'm stocking things in my favor, I know. But you get what I'm saying. In the top three, you have a certain amount of latitude. Outside of that top three, that latitude is gone. That whispery, foggy sound you hear, ooh, that's the wood pile talking to you. You stare too long, it starts to come alive on you. It starts to come alive. Look out, it's Chris. What are you? Oh, it's Chris Weidman. I can't see him again. So you have a certain amount of latitude. So to a certain degree, it's about showing up. Now that I hear rumors about McG had a fractured foot, he's got the X-rays, bada bing, bada bang, bada whatever. I don't care. He showed up because if you're in the top three, you have a certain amount of latitude. So can you get AKA to change? Need you get AKA to change? Is AKA, after what we saw from Khabib, is this a real threat to Conor McG, who I'm guarantee you has his number now. Unless he was purposefully sandbagging him on the stand-up, Khabib is going to get killed on the stand-up, and he won't be able to convert on the ground. Oh, he's going to ground the pound and hold down. Yeah, McG's got a pretty active and pretty aggressive takedown defense. But he pegged him. And the genius of McG is, you know what he said? The truth. The truth hurts. Guy's a pullout artist. Well, he doesn't need to say it about Kane. You can't keep training the way wrestlers train and expect a long haul. You can't. You cannot. Oh, don't tell me you got all you got. Yale, Romero, you got. Hey, we're talking rarefied air, my friends. Rarefied air. Rarefied air dictates that those guys are not normal people and different things happen to them. And for them. But largely, time happens to all of us. All of us. But you'll see, you're going to start to see something. You're going to start to see something happen that's really super compelling in a way, and that's that I can either, if I'm WME, William Morris, the new owners of the UFC, I say, look, I got structural problems here. If I'm Ari Emanuel, I got structural problems here. I can't keep Can you imagine? Can you imagine a blockbuster movie scheduled to open on Friday? Fantastic Beasts, Doctor Strange, whatever it is. And on Tuesday, the director goes, you know, I haven't finished. It's just I can't get it ready in time for the Saturday debut, Friday. I got Friday. I can't. I'm sorry, I can't. You can't run a business this way. You absolutely, beyond a shadow of a doubt, cannot run a business this way. So what do? You need a plan B. What is your plan B? What is it? What's your plan B? Well, right now, it's in like a lion, out like a lamb, and there goes the belt. And now they're going to fight Holloway and Dude are going to fight for an interim belt, some bullshit interim belt, and Jose Aldo is going to revert to the champion. You think he wants that piece of shit? He doesn't want that piece of shit. Position like Captain Ahab, the only return to relevance for him is through Conor McGee, and Conor McGee has absolutely nothing to benefit. Why do you think Rumble is? Mousasi called it and said, Rumble's ducking me. I think that's what I heard. Was that a terrible rumor or not? I got to straighten my leg, man. Been on the airplane too. There we go. I mean, you know, Rumble's in the same position. He's like, yeah, I thought, wait. This is a tough fight. I could lose. I don't get a payday for Mousasi. Fuck helping Mousasi. And I'm liking, sorry to make it so jiggly. This is catastrophic from every different point of view. How's that? Now, I'm liking that these guys are thinking multidimensionally, because I guarantee you your new bosses are thinking multidimensionally. In other words, hey, okay, I'm Rumble. I fight Mousasi. I jumped up. He's got everything to gain and nothing to lose. Heavy, I don't know, I'm a middleweight. I don't fight light heavy, but I want to help out. He gets to kiss some ass. He gets to suck up. He gets to brown nose himself right into company guy status. He gets the payday, and then he goes back to middleweight, renewed and emboldened. Okay, so then he beats him, and it's big. So you beat a jumped up middleweight. Who cares? I don't need the payday that badly. And he's where now? You know, training, waiting. You know what? I think right now what we can say is, in a very sane and confident way, I can say light heavyweight, the whole division is Major Tom. Houston. Houston. This is the light heavyweight division. We're outside of Jupiter, Houston. It's nowhere. It's absolutely, positively nowhere. And you got good fighters in there, and it's shocking that the division is nowhere. This is not conspiracy. It's just looking at the facts. Jonny Boney Joney out until July. And you think he's going to be ready in July? You think they're going to have to give him a warm-up fight? You think he's going to make it to July? You think he's going to get popped for another drug test? You know, what did the bald one say? Never has he seen anybody squander more talent other than possibly BJ Penn, who was already rich, than Jonny Boney Joney. I said the first time he had to stumble, I said, dude's got to buckle down. And now it's got to be laser focused. You got to be crazed. Didn't do it. Didn't stop hanging around with the guys from the mini mart. Didn't stop. Didn't get the hangers on. Didn't get rid of them. Nope. You're going to learn a very valuable, potent lesson. And I'm reading something. I was reading on the airplane, reading some old magazines. I finally got to go through Kevin Hart, and Kevin Hart is buying his wife $160,000 rings and things, and Are you fucking kidding me? Kidding me? Are you kidding me? I guess you think this stuff is going to last forever. I guess you thought it was going to last forever. Nope. This stuff rarely lasts forever. Let's talk to Hammer. Nah. Like I said before, Jaimin Hunsu. I had one of my writers do a piece on Jaimin Hunsu when I was at Code. I go, man, I dig that guy. I like Gladiator. That was a good movie. Was it? Oh, he's living here in Beverly Hills. Oh, he's got nice digs, a mansion up the hill, and the mansion. No, dude's living in a condo. Yes. The only way you'll be able to tell that I've hit it big, if I hit it big, is I'll have tattoos on the hands and tattoos on the neck. That's the only way you know, oh man, Eugene struck. Until then, gotta go to work. So it is in disarray like you've never seen disarray. Rumble will refuse to fight anybody in that division until he gets what he thinks is the biggest payday he's going to get against DC. At the very least, it's not just a payday, it's the belt. He's close. Why fight somebody else? So he's on ice. Jonny Boney Joney, who everybody still considers to be the unsung champion, has other demons to fight before July. And his first fight back, if his first fight back is going to be against Rumble and he loses, what are the nut jumpers going to say? Well, the guy is a tough fight back for the guy's first fight back. He's in the top 3. It doesn't really make a difference. Will it shake his juju? I don't know. I don't know anything about him anymore. And this is coming from a guy who interviewed him. So, you want to talk about conspiracy theory. This is a loose network. If I'm WME, what I finally say is I have to be in a position to, and forget about DC getting hurt. DC's also old, and he's lost in the supermarket. Go to an old show, figure out what it is. So what are you going to do with light heavyweight? Is it Glover Teixeira? Who? What? What are you going to do with light heavyweight? Who's on the farm team? Farm team? Who? What? It's a mess. It's a mess. And it is Major Tom. It's floating out there, and nobody knows what's going on. If I were a middleweight, I would say, I'm here, baby. I'm here. Which is kind of what Mousasi did and got slapped down. You think he wants to go up and fight somebody not in the top 5? What's the point of that? What is the point of that? Oh, or maybe Bella. Oh, don't tell me. Look, friend of Knuckle Up, Mike Kogan is now like the number 2 guy at Bellator. He would balk at that. He gets cagey every time I try to ask him. So, what is your job title? What are you doing for Coker? What's happening? What is your position? And he won't tell me. It seems like a pretty simple question, like Donald Trump's taxes, but much like Donald Trump, he will not tell me. So I don't know what he does at Bellator. But Bellator is trying. Those guys are trying, and they're trying to develop a property. But and I keep thinking in a haunting way. People go, well, you got to admit that supplé of Henderson by Chandler. Come on, man. Come on. The thing is, I would rather watch the fight in the juniper bushes by the 7-Eleven, because at least I know that what I'm watching is not mediated. What do you mean mediated? I don't know, man. I got 2 words for you. Daniel Pooter. Do some research. I can't help you. And and Kid Nate thought that there was some juice in GSP appearing like a bargaining chip wise, and nah, son. Oh, well, you gonna put him up against Rory McDonald? A teammate of his. That is really pretty typically a Bellator 2-step. Sorry. I've been to the fights, and I've been disgusted with the fights. I leave Bellator fights, and Yeah, and I'm sorry. I know it sounds schizophrenic because I went to the one and I left it and I go, man, the production value was great. They had kickboxing, they had flames, they had kickboxing and flames and more flames, and they had fights, and and then I went to the second one. And yeah, they had flames. Yeah, they had kickboxing. But I actually started watching the MMA fights, and it was like they gave one of their fights to the guy clearly who is just super questionable judging, super questionable reffing, and I was like, man, you know what? You could take the thing out of the thing, but you never take the thing out of the thing. You know what I mean? What I mean specifically is they had a chance, and I am going to have my chance. And then they just zigged where I thought they should zag. You know what? They're in business. I'm not. Who am I? Who am I? But if you're really paying attention to the quality of that product, I find it lacking. And it's not just because I'm nut jumpery about the UFC. It's a standard. If you have set the standard, there's something to be said for you're validated in a very specific way. It's not like I'm sitting around thinking, I'd like to see MMA do this or that. Yeah, light and heavyweights needs to be fixed. But that's not a structural problem. Or maybe it is. Maybe it is. What other divisions are featherweight? Is featherweight dark starred or Major Tom? What do you care about? When was the last time that Jose Aldo fought? He's angry because they're not fighting no more. I'm angry too. They should fight him more. But, they also have to think like tri-level chess about the next move and the move beyond that. A winning Jose Aldo is juicy. A Jose Aldo who loses his next one, not so juicy. We want gods. We don't want mortals. Mighty Mouse, his division, where is it? A dominant champ, a smattering of challengers. Where is that division? So now we have three divisions that are three divisions that are Major Tom. Is it Major Tom? Yes. Just floating around, three divisions that are Major Tom. Here's my firearm. There's people running out of the house, not saying anything. I mean, it's slightly vulnerable here. I have not a single weapon at. Oh, yeah, never mind. That's three divisions. Where do we have juice? We have juice left in heavyweights. We have juice left in middleweights. That's two. That's two divisions. Oh, I have a motion detector thing. I have one of those special Ring doorbells, so I can see who's at the gate. Let's look and see who's at the front gate. This would be great. Well, I'll show you when there's something to see. Right now, it's just a spinning ball of gate death. So, okay, so you've got heavyweight, you've got middleweight. What about welterweight? Yeah, heavyweight, middleweight, welterweight. Those still have some juice. What about Conor McGee is a sort of a wrecking ball in the sense that he is good for the business, but ultimately bad for business. He's not leaving revived divisions behind him. He is saying, I am bigger than the game. I am the game. Great, got you. But you have just laid waste to two divisions. Can't run a business this way. You can't run a business with. He has, despite who I don't know who the guy in the comments was going. Oh, Ronda's got a bigger, blah blah blah. No. The figures have been added. He's made the Baldwin way more money than Honda ever did. And if you think this fight with her and Nunes is going to be something, you're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. You know, Holly Holmes, as we've seen, is not a super great fighter, but she did one thing. What did she do? She never stood any risk of getting punched out of the game. She never ran any risk of getting kicked out of the game. She did run a risk of being submitted out of the game. And she did run a super high risk of getting thrown out of the game. Kept the hips away. Kept the hips away. Well, you think that nobody in women's MMA has watched that video? I think they've all watched that video. Hold the hips. Keep them away. Keep them away. And when Ronda's done, what do you have left? You got Joanna. Carolina still has some juice. Got that whole Bantam division and Cyborg. And they're afraid to have Cyborg because they saw what she did to the division last time when she beat Gina Carano into movies. We're not talking conspiracies here. It's just like, I got a show to put on. You know, everybody, Joe Silva's stupid. Try it. Like Nina Simone said, you think this shit is easy? It's not. You try it. And then she walked out. Sean Shelby, you think coming up with the matches is easy? Only to see them scuttle because of a jury drug test, street overlord dick pills, or injuries? No. So what you know, I mean, they're in a position now, WME, where you can't let these guys lay fallow. You're paying them, they gotta work. They don't have to work, but working is a lot of things. Working is a lot of things. I'm paying you, you gotta do something. And the stuff that they're likely to get them, commercials, TV shows, walk-ons, appearances, Dancing with the Stars, are things that will perforce make it more difficult for them to compete well. What are you talking about, Eugene? Where's your solution? I don't have a solution here. I'm like floating by on 3 hours of sleep. I don't have any solutions. But I've identified some undercurrents, some problems, and situations that you might have missed. You want to see a career wasted? Look no further than Fedor. He's in Bellator. That should pretty much, that's like showing up. Hey, a friend was at a large group sex party. Now, I'm not saying that 60-year-old guys with guts and turbans can't be at group sex parties, but generally, if you pay attention to these things, the best group sex parties don't have paunchy guys, hairy, paunchy guys in turbans at the sex parties. There's no porno line that has hairy, sexy turban guy sex party. Now the guys are sick. That's great. Got you. Religious, devotional to wear the turban. Got it. But hey, man, keep a shirt on. Do some sit-ups. I'm not even ageist about it. You're 60, you want to rock it in a group sex scenario? Go for it. But keep a shirt on. Maybe use a depilatory. Oh, don't say your hair is fuck that. Fuck it. Don't want to see that. In fact, if you are at a group sex party and you see a paunchy, hairy, old guy in a turban, you should know that you are at a C-list sex party. You are not at the Hollywood sex party. You're at another kind of sex party. And he was having a great time. Dude was in there. I mean, I heard that he was in there. I mean, he's high-fiving guys, low-fiving guys. I hate those guys at group sex parties who want to establish emotional connections with other guys at the group sex parties. All right, bro. Get the fuck out of here. Don't touch me. Don't look at me. Don't speak to me. So, Fedor looks around him. You should know. You should know. Are you just in it for the money? Like that band The Makeup says, she's only in it for the money. Got it. You're just in it for the money. Okay. Who you think, I'm baffled. I'm baffled at how so comfortably, how easily people squander greatness. And believe you me, it is squandered. So GSP is appearing in the cage are you out of your mind? Are you out of your mind? Have you lost your mind? Nobody cares. Nobody. And I know people are making cases because we want to be agnostic again about we want to support any mixed martial arts, whether it's Invicta, whether it's KSW, whether it's any one at all, UFC. We don't play favorites, but come on, man, stop that. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Don't sell me baking soda and tell me it's Coke. I know the difference. Know the difference. So the WME's problem is, how do I keep my shit high grade? And I don't have an answer. I really don't have an answer. But I know that there's a problem. What could you do to incentivize guys to fight smarter? Don't know. What could you do to incentivize guys to fight smarter, but don't have that smarter include performance-enhancing drugs? I don't know. What can you do to keep guys busy enough so they don't find themselves in the hands of mini-mark guys with cash? Don't know. What are you going to do to develop public interest around fighters that are heretofore not well known except by their conoscenti? Did I pronounce that right? Hey, let's try to figure out. I want to show you the last 3 words I have looked up. I love it. I love figuring out words I haven't seen before. Last 3 words I've looked up. Mephitic, cynosure, catamite, revanche. That was 4 words, I know. These are great words. Take a look. And how to pronounce them, don't know. You read Martin Amis, you read it, your word list gets like this. I want to know. Cynosure, catamite, right on the tip of my memory, I remember. Same with revanche. But I got that in there more because I wanted to know how to pronounce it. Not revanche. I don't have solutions here. I really don't know how to develop the product. And in that case, I'm compelled because somebody will come along, one of the big brains will come along and think of something, and we'll all sit and we'll go, oh God, But the more the Connor McGee insists that he in his Mad Max way, you want to get out of here, you come through me. The more he insists on stuff like that, I think it serves to cloud the minds and judgment of bigger brains a little bit. But what he's got, you can't bottle. Put fur coats you want aplenty on everybody sitting atop the divisions, and it won't make a difference. You got to remember why people are buying this anyway. The scintilla of danger. You want these as real as it gets as a tagline. Can you think of somebody who is absolute? Remember when Jonny Boney Joney, the powerlifting Jonny Boney Joney, was going to fight Overstate Prue? You're like, man, I'm actually I'm afraid. Or actually, he was scheduled to fight DC again. And I said, man, I'm afraid. He was angry enough where I'm actually afraid for him. Where I'm afraid for dude. Afraid. Afraid. Really? Can you think of any fighter fighting now that you have that same? You think I'm a little harsh on Fedor? Wrong. That has the same kind of. Do you feel that? Oh, man, oh my God! Like Kane revived. Kane revived you, man. And what he did to Junior Dos Santos, you were afraid. That's the kind of shit that you don't have to have the fur coat guy. Nobody's afraid when they're getting in the cage. You're about to see something magical, but it was more magical like Ali magical, like float like a butterfly, sting like a bee magic. It wasn't like Sonny Liston. People were afraid for guys that Sonny Liston was fighting. Afraid. And now Rashad Evans is out there, and people are like, oh, man, what, is Rashad going to be sharing a bus with Kanye? There's something going on. There's something happening here, and what it is ain't exactly clear. But what's clear is dude is not right. And not only that, in a very significant way, he will never be right again. And that's got to be a hard fucking – nobody's walking in telling you, hey, you know what? You're a pretty good attorney, but you're done. You're done. You're done. Forget it. You're done. You're finished. Kaputzes. You're done. Hard reality to grasp. So we've had this time. You're giving thanks. You sit with your family, chattering about politics, the election, watching football games, you know. And you got to know that the big heads at WME were tearing their hair out. And to a certain degree of satisfaction, you got to know the bald one is sitting at home going, those Hollywood guys think they know so fucking much. Let's see. Let's see. As long as I get my $300 million, I'm fine. But let's see what what are you gonna do? How are you gonna fix a fight? What are you gonna do? How are you gonna generate interest? Now you're phasing out the Ultimate Fighter TV show. Who's still watching that? Anybody? Maybe the hardcores. Anybody in that B level, C level, just kind of casual fans. Are they watching? I guess the show's still on. Somebody's watching. I saw a little preview of one of it. So canned, so terrible. It was like watching the worst kind of pornography. But I'm not a reality TV fan. Except when those guys contacted me and said, hey, we want you to do a reality TV show about haunted houses. I said, hot diggity dog, I'll do it. Doesn't take me much time to flip-flop when cash is involved. I will absolutely never do. He is the guy right away, sir. That way I can buy the L key, the K key, the J key, and the M key on my computer without leaving my computer overnight at the computer shop, which I will go tomorrow and just lay it on the line. I'm not leaving it here. I'm not leaving it here. I know it doesn't take you overnight to do it. Sorry. You guys have seen way too much of me anyways. You don't need it. Just give me the new keyboard. That's it. So I'll put it in. Just get me the keyboard. So anyway, I think that's pretty much. I'm coming down to the end of the show. It's like I wish I could come up with a fix. I'll tell you certain things that keep me up at night. Staircases, beds. I am bedeviled by the fact that beds have existed largely unchanged for hundreds of years, and nobody's really thought, oh, you got the water bed. That came in and out in the 70s, and you got the adjustable bed, the eider-down bed, but the bed is still largely the same. It takes up the same amount of real estate in your house. You can't get rid of it. It eats up a whole chunk of a room designed specifically just for it. You got the Murphy bed. It keeps me up nights. I want to redesign a better bed that does things that you need, that maximizes how inside space that you might like to have in your place for walking around, but that's good for what you use beds for. Fucking, sleeping, being sick, watching TV, multi-purpose. It's impossible. It must be the best, right? I don't know enough. I don't know 100% enough to be able to figure out what the best bed is, but I'd like it to happen. Same with staircases. One way to get from one way to another way in your house on a number of different scenarios. Carrying groceries, carrying children, walking dogs, pushing strollers, carrying bikes, carrying things, carrying sofas, carrying stoves. Staircases, wonderful, but it takes up a lot of real estate. What do you mean, Eugene? The real estate of the staircase, the banister, the space underneath, it takes up a lot of space. Somebody could design a better, well, what about poles? You could use a pole to get, yeah, hard to get up a pole with a fucking bag of groceries. Well, an elevator, if you got a 2-story house, you're going to put an elevator in your house. It's crazy. And it also takes up a lot of real estate. And the UFC is in that position, mixed martial arts. On the one hand, you have to have somebody who's photogenic and has that Q rating stuff. And those people could just go into the acting without the punches in the face. Right? You get some guy who's like, well, I'm a martial artist, I'm an athlete. Yeah, well, maybe another sport beckons. Maybe I'll go in the Olympics instead. Or maybe I'll do MMA where I get hit. But I'm not good enough, even though I got the good gift to get. You know what? There are pitfalls aplenty. You bought yourself a fucking $4.2 billion business. I'm assuming based on what had happened before, you know what's going to happen in the future. I don't know what alterations you need to make, but I know you can't keep constructing these cards on a shoestring. And I'm not talking about cash. I'm talking about media, market, entertainment value. So you're going to take you need the army. Army, huh? Army to take your belt away? That was pretty easy. That must have been like the Austrian army when the Nazis rolled into Vienna. We resist. Now done. A resistance that lasts all like 47 minutes. I could have done a knuckle up in the time that they lasted. So stairs, beds, the UFC. Things I'd like to fix, but currently find it outside my skill range. Got some fights coming up later on in the week. We're going to do If I Did It. I didn't get to the mailbag. I didn't get to a lot of things because I keep looking at the indicators. I keep hoping that we get through this thing without technical difficulty. We didn't get to a lot of things. We have If I Did It coming up and a Care Don't Care. I was going to talk about Robert Whitaker and Derek Brunson. Like, gives a fuck about that fight. We didn't even do a Care Don't Care preview on Thanksgiving week about the Derek Brunson-Whitaker fight. Brunson came out. Everybody knows. I mean, you got guys in a position to fight like Kung Lee told James Terry, fight exciting fights. Guys who are compelled to fight exciting fights, and they come out, you're swinging wild, and you get your ass knocked out. Now, Derek Brunson is not in the top 5, is he? Yeah, might want to look at going into personal training. I don't know what to tell you. You just got beaten by a 25-year-old guy who's on a jag. Nobody gave a fuck about this Melbourne fight, but you got a highlight reel for this guy Whitaker that makes him a valuable property. Maybe this is the way they're going to do it. You can use secondary and tertiary fights to build up a highlight reel that you can then sell. They're in the business of image projection, and image projection is witchcraft, and you can sell that. So you don't get the pay-per-view. So what? So what? Anyway, that's the end of the show. Sorry for the tech confusion and the addlement at first. I don't know. Next week, I'll shave and I'll have a little more sleep under my belt. But, what do you want for nothing? A rubber biscuit? Anyway, thanks for sticking here. Like I said, If I Did It, you can tweet me or sign up for the tweet. I'm sorry, I block it because I got to know who's at the party. At Eugene S. Robinson. That's the Twitter handle. You can follow me on Facebook, I think, because I'm all maxed out. Eugene S. Robinson there. Or where else? Instagram as Mr. Sleep 3. But if you don't have any of your own pictures in there, I assume you're a spy, and I won't okay you. So don't be like, I just want to look at Eugene, but I don't want to contribute. Nah, that's not the way it works. Not the way it works. Anyway, this is the end. This is Knuckle Up 287. I'm your host, Robinson. We'll see you next week. Look what you made me do!